Intervals, page 3. Intervals have larger distances. I used C as the beginning pitch, so there are no sharps or flats at first. And when counting the general name, include the starting note in the count when counting any interval. I can't impress it enough. The example would be C to E. C, D, E is 3 letters total. The examples below in bold are to be memorized so we can build chords and scales. The first 2 notes are exactly the same pitch, and these can have more than one name, a unison, tonic, root, or one. The reduced form of communication is used. The half and whole steps are omitted. Moreover, the names are reduced to a simple form. Notice the slash or the 7 at the end. I'll talk about that. So this is a slang terminology. Real musicians talk in intervals. They don't use do, re, mi, or things like this. Like unison is just 1, a major second is 2, major third 3, perfect fourth 4, perfect fifth 5, major sixth 6, major 7 7, and an octave is 8. When audibleizing that major seventh, you really can't say slash. You'll probably say major seventh when you're audibleizing. Look below that where the notes are. The C to the C, there is no movement, so that's the unison. It could also be called root, tonic, or first. C to D, whole step, is a major second. Next, C to E, 2 whole steps, is a major third. Next, C to F is 2.5 steps, or a perfect fourth. Next, C to G, 3.5 steps, a perfect fifth. Next, C to A, 4.5 steps, a major sixth. Next is C to B, 5.5 steps or a major seventh. And the end is C to C, 6 whole steps or an octave. That's our 6 inches on the ruler. So these interval numbers of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if I say a second, it's just commonly understood. I mean a major second. Now, if I want to use a lowered second or raised second, I have to put a flat or a sharp on that, and that's part of the slang. I wanted to talk about, I'm just injecting this in here, about perfect fifths and perfect fourths. And there's some very serious math involved in what we call intonation and frequencies of pitch. It goes off the deep end, and I'm showing a couple of charts here for you. In particular, there's one on ratios, and it shows some square roots. It's just insane. I can make a long story critically short. If we look up at the chart, we see the C note, 2.5 steps up to F, which is a perfect fourth. But if I start at the octave C and I go down to the fifth, I have a half step B, whole step A, whole step G. 2.5 steps down. We will talk about that in a very short order about ascending and descending and the equivalence. If you go up a fourth, you're going down a fifth. The reason they're called perfect is they are a perfect subdivision. Scales are generally regarded to be a combination of what we call tetrachords. The first 4 notes, C, D, E, F, is the first tetrachord, and the second 4 notes, G, A, B, C, is the second tetrachord. Look below that. Intervals can be made smaller by lowering the top note a half step or raising the bottom note. For now, we'll just lower the top. The distances are smaller, and the specific names are changed to reflect this. Notice the unison did not change, nor the octave is present. That is not changed. But a diminished seventh appears. It has a double flat on it. This is 4.5 steps, same as a major sixth. When this occurs, the note is enharmonic. Same tone, but 2 different names. Below that, 3 new rules are added. Any major interval made smaller becomes minor. Any perfect interval made smaller becomes diminished. Any minor interval made smaller becomes diminished. Look below that. It shows C to C. There is no movement again, and that's just unison, root, or first. The C to the D flat is a half step, and it's still 2-letter names, so it's called a minor second, because any major interval becomes minor. C to E flat, 1.5 steps, is a minor third. C to F flat is 2 whole steps or a diminished fourth, and harmonic to a major third, yes. C to G flat, 3 whole steps, is a diminished fifth. 4 whole steps, C to A flat, is a minor sixth. And C to B flat, 5 whole steps, is a minor seventh. And between that minor third and that minor seventh, those are important intervals. Finally, at the end of this, we see the C to the B double flat. 4 1/2 steps, or a diminished seventh. Now the simple forms would appear a little different. This does not affect the first tone because there's no change, but the other tones have been reduced in size, so the numbers are given flats to reflect the change in the specific name. A minor second is now called flat 2, minor third, flat 3, diminished fourth, flat 4, diminished fifth, flat 5, minor 6, flat 6, minor 7, flat 7, diminished seventh, a double flat 7. Move on to page 4.